it would push them out like it would any other animal.
Most animals it would,
but the fact that they actually came down, it's almost like they were being inquisitive.
Yeah,
and that's the thing that kind of makes me go, "What?"
To me, I'll give you a good analogy. First of all, you hit a good point. The fact that they were inquisitive, that their curiosity was piqued enough to overpower the sense of fear that they must have felt when these explosions went off, that to me says intelligence.
Oh,
Second
absolutely.
of all, just as an analogy, let's say you're sitting on your porch at home and all of a sudden a jetliner falls from the sky and crashes in your neighborhood. I mean, a fireball erupts, you hear this explosion. Initially, you're in shock. But given 20, 30 minutes, I think any one of us would probably go race to the scene, maybe out of morbid curiosity, maybe to see if you can help or whatever. But,
right.
You're not just going to sit on your porch when your neighborhood's on fire.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think that's kind of what happened was they were curious as to what the hell we were doing out there, and that's what brought them out. And you're right. Any other animal would go 360 degrees away from that area.
You mean 180?
I mean, well, 270 degrees anyway. I don't know.
Right?
Either
way, they go opposite direction of travel.
Military left.
They're gonna pop smoke and get the hell out of there.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Todd, where can we? Can any of our listeners get involved at all? Is there any way that they? Are there any groups or anything like that meet up, perhaps, or anything like that they could get with in their local areas?
Well, I would direct them to our website, which is AmericanPrimate.org.
Which I just posted the link to there.
And there's a lot of information there. The site's still under construction. We're kind of moving some stuff over from another site, combining two sites, actually. And or they can write to me directly, AmericanPrimate@AOL.com. Yeah, I'm still one of those AOL guys. So
you've got mail.
Right.
But yeah, there's groups that get together. In fact, every year, my wife and I put on a annual gathering of researchers in the Coast Range called Beachfoot. We've got a Facebook page called Beachfoot.
You told me about Beachfoot.
Yeah, we've had people from all over the world come to this. It's a private invitation-only gathering of just researchers. There are conferences done all over the country at any given time. Almost every month there's a conference somewhere. Often I'm asked to go speak at them, but these are open to the public. People can pay admission and get in and listen to the speakers. But this is just, I thought about this years ago. In 2008 was the first time we did it, and it was about just getting research together as kind of a retreat where they don't have to entertain an audience and where they can network and
right.
And get to know each other face to face and share information. And this year will be our 11th gathering, so it goes on. But but I would just suggest they try to reach out to me through either Conservancy or my email, and I'll be happy to point them in the right direction.
Gotcha.
Yeah, there's several conferences already scheduled for this year in the Pacific Northwest.
Nice.
We'd be happy to point them out.
Awesome. So, all right, Todd. Well, while I got you on, before we go ahead and break away or wrap this up, so I got a buddy of mine on the line via Skype who actually would like to ask, who's probably got a couple questions himself to ask of you. So I'm going to welcome on my buddy Albert from Tinfoil Vets. So he is on with us on Skype right now. And so... Absolutely. Tell you what. Oh, crap. Can you hear us okay there, Albert?
Yeah, I can hear you. Have you got me?
I have you on speaker, but not Spreaker. So
I can hear him fine.
You can hear him okay?
Yep.
Okay, well, I guess he can hear you just fine.
Hi, Albert.
When you actually had the sighting, when they came out into view, because you said that they were in view for less than 30 seconds, were they looking directly back at you, or were they looking at the area for the detonation where the charges were going off?
Well, they were all standing in line, if you will, shoulder to shoulder. They were facing the convoy. They were definitely watching us. And what was interesting about it was The one in the middle, which stood a full head up taller than the two on either side, and I would estimate close to 9 feet. That one stood there like a statue. It didn't move at all. But the two that flanked it on either side, left and right, were exhibiting this very unusual swaying motion, if you will. They were shifting weight from foot to foot, and in the process, these incredibly long arms were swaying back and forth across in front of their, or I should say below their knees. They were just rocking back and forth the entire time that they were watching us.
You said it was not just yourself, but another soldier that you were with that actually verified or asked you, did you see what I saw?
Well, now, when I saw them, I was the only person looking at them from my vehicle. It was after we had gotten down a few minutes later to the staging area and got out of our vehicles that I was approached by another soldier who confirmed to me that he had seen the same thing. And like I said, a month later, excuse me, at the next drill, we had 2 other soldiers also come forward. I don't know, there may have been more that had actually seen it, but that's 4 that we know of that did.
Okay. And just with the turn of your head, boom, they were gone.
Well, it wasn't a turn of the head, it was a turn of the vehicle. I mean, we broke out into this open stretch of the road where the ravine fell away, and I had a clear view of the quarry that they were standing in off in the distance, and about 25 seconds later we rounded another corner and I lost sight of them, but it was about a 25-second view.
How long well, I guess I would care to ask, was there some kind of cliff hangover, some kind of cavern, almost a cave that they might have been in that they came out of near that quarry area?
No, and I've been up there numerous times since. I got access. I got the master keys to the gates. At that time, I was owned by Cavanagh Forest Products, and so I had the ability to get behind those gates and go up into that area, which I did. Monthly. Every time we had drill, I was going up there after drill, and it's just very deep. The Coast Range is a temperate rainforest. It's considerably thicker than, say, the Cascades, which is an alpine forest. I never did see any sort of a den or a cave that they might have held up in, but these the forest up there gives them plenty of cover, and I think they're pretty nomadic. I think they're on the move quite all the time. But no, to answer your question, no, I didn't see any sort of a cave.
Yeah, I know. I actually had worked down in East Texas and Arkansas, and I heard you say something about the legend of Boggy Creek. That they did make a movie about that back in the 70s, and I know that there's supposedly been sightings down there. I've never experienced any myself, but there's been a lot of perpetuation of the same thing down there. The town is actually called Fouke, Arkansas. Right. And that they perpetuate that pretty heavily because of the moonshiners. That through the 50s, 60s, and 70s, they were still producing a lot of moonshine, and the guys that would run the liquor up and down through those areas, that they would kind of do the whole hauntings and continue on the story, just to keep people from wandering too far down the territory. This is uncovering your stills and finding out what was going on. I know that was part of the story, but there were 2. There was a second movie made on the Legend of Boggy Creek. There were actually 2 movies made. There was a follow-up, and I know the guy that was involved in that, Smokey Crabtree. He's passed away since, but yeah, a lot of people believe that happened down there, and I wouldn't be surprised. Now, one of the the documented occurrences was with it's outside of Falk. It's one of the county roads down there off of Highway 71. Is a guy that actually you do get back in those Arkansas swamps, and he had a photograph at the time. He had a prize pig, and he had a big old prize breeder that weighed about 400 pounds.
That's a big breeder.
Yeah, big old breeding sow. And that was she was a big Duroc pig. And if I remember right, I just think if I remember, I think I was reading that it was a Duroc. It was a big breeding sow.
Gotcha.
And 300 to 400 pound pig. Anyway, one of the things that had occurred is he said that he had stepped out of his cabin or his house, and he saw a large hairy figure lifting that pig up by the hind leg with one arm. And that he ended up filing a report with the local sheriff's department that somebody stole the pig. And they thought he was nuts when they told him it was somebody that lifted it up out of the pen. But none of the wire on the pen was tore up. The pig was missing. There's no hog track outside the pen that actually showed where it would have ran away. And the only thing that they did is, I guess, a few days later, they actually took some plastic casts of some gigantic footprints.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know how much you've actually done, research down in that area. It was just kind of curious to me. I read about it, and I always thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I haven't done any research in Arkansas. Most of my time in Arkansas has been at PAC. So.
Yeah, same place I'm going to be broadcasting at here, here in 2 weeks, 3 weeks? Yeah, 3 weeks. So I'll be down at PAC. So I got a school down there, so I'll be down there playing with the boys down in Arkansas. So,
well, bring your fishing pole.
Yeah, that's what I hear. So that's where I'm going to be up with my buddy Dakota. So he's going to be making a trip down from Missouri, come pay me a visit. We're going to hang out, and he's going to show me around down there, those parts. So who knows? I may, depending on where you're at, Albert, I may come up and wind up knocking on your door or something. I might have to go and harass Chris or something for a night. So, but anyhow, all right, guys. Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. So, Mr. Niess, again, we appreciate you coming on, Todd. And to our buddy Albert over there from Tinfoil Vets, thank you for making an appearance on the show this evening. We do appreciate you guys. So, with that being said, again, thank you to our sponsors over there at ThreatCon 5 Clothing, our host network here at VRS, and our sponsors over at Warrior Point with an E.org. So, thank you to those guys. On behalf of myself, J-Dub, and my co-host Carl.
Yep.
And our producer Josh, the high-tech redneck.
Yeah, buddy.
So, want to thank you guys for coming on, and we will talk at you all here next week.
Yes, thank you very much, guys.
All right. Thank you.
So, have a good night, guys. We'll talk at you all later. This has been another episode of BB Nation Radio, right here on VRS.